All right, I've had my Steam Deck now for a little over a year, and today I want to talk about all my favorite games that I played on it during year one, because I love this thing and I want to talk about it. So let's just jump right in. Spoilers are going to be on the back half of every game block, and also chapters are below so you can see what's coming. Let's do this. If you're watching a Steam Deck video, I am pretty sure that you have heard of Aperture Desk Job before, but if somehow you haven't, very briefly, this is a tech demo tutorial kind of game of the Steam Deck's controls and features set in the Portal universe, and it tells the story of you, the player, working in a factory. And I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't want to spoil it too much, because it really is the first thing that you should play on your Steam Deck. It gets automatically added to your library when you sign into your Steam Deck with your Steam account for the first time. It's Valve's Astro's Playroom, if you will, and it's great. Such a good showcase of a game that feels great on deck, obviously, you'd hope so. And a very eerie charmingness to it, which kind of seems like Valve's MO. I regret to say I have not actually played too many Valve games. I'm trying to change that though. It's also 45 minutes long, so if you can squeeze that in, definitely check it out. Curse to Golf. Now this is Super Stickman, that old iOS game, gone pixel art, and you're a dead golfer trying to golf your way out of purgatory and return to the land of the living via a golfing roguelike gameplay loop. What a concept, and it's executed fantastically. Now I'm actually only 5.5 hours in right now, so I have no idea where the story goes or how the gameplay progresses, but I am digging it so far. How this whole thing works is every hole you have a shot number that you have to complete it by. You have a driver, an iron, and a wedge, and then with the Super Stickman reference, you also have these power-up cards that situationally can benefit your shot, like changing directions mid-flight, exploding TNT boxes that are around the holes. And then also around the holes, you have these statues that you can hit that will give you shots back. And then there's also teleportation chambers that are tough to get to, but act as pretty substantial shortcuts. So it is about just hitting good long shots, but also building out a strategy around using the cards in the right way, going for the shortcuts or the trophies that get you shots back. And especially on the boss holes, which are at the end of each course, the shortcuts are kind of a must. Now I actually golf in real life, so it's always fun to check out a golfing game. And this completely hits that experience, one of just going, through the hole, but two, the frustration when you mess up, it's not fun. But you are listening to a dope soundtrack the whole time, so that absolutely helps. And this game will run 60 FPS. I think I have it at high settings at a 4-watt TDP cap. So that's pretty good. I'm really glad I played this early on too, because this was one that I bought specifically for the Steam Deck. It looked awesome, and it's been awesome. So that's a good starting place. Katana ZERO is incredible. If you haven't heard of it, go add it to your Steam wishlist, then come back and finish this video. And if I could try to describe a pitch for this game, this is pixel art, side-scrolling, Matrix, beat 'em up. And that's a terrible description in terms of doing it justice. How the levels in this game work though are there's dudes in an area. When you get close to them, they aggro to you. And then it's one of those one-hit kill games and you die in one hit as well. And then at your disposal, you have a melee, you have a deflect, you can pick up and throw objects, you have a dash, but you also have a limited use time slow ability. And why that element is so cool is because once you finish a level, the game replays that level back to you, but in full speed. So if you used a lot of slow motion stuff to get through it, the replay makes you look like you're just completely cracked out of your mind at the game. And it never really got old. Also, when you first start a level, the character pops in a cassette tape that kind of in-game and then also out-of-game plays the level's soundtrack. And I thought that was a cool touch. Super sick music as well. Now, spoiler for Katana ZERO, I love a sleeper agent story. And as the game was going on and you're tripping out more and you gotta take your meds, the dream, and you have no idea what's going on with it early on, and every time you revisit the dream, it's the smallest progression that you get. I was hooked whole time. It's 5-6 hours long. And it also plays absolutely incredible on Steam Deck. 60 FPS, high settings, 4 to 5 watt TDP. And it's 200 megabytes, so baller for storage as well. And speaking of storage, I want to give a big thank you to this video's sponsor, Crucial, who just dropped their new line of P310 PCIe Gen 4 NVMe M.2 2230 SSDs. Now these 2230 drives are compatible with devices like your Steam Deck or original ROG Ally, hit sequential speeds up to 7100 megabytes a second read and 6000 megabytes a second write, come in 1 and 2 terabyte options, and have a nice 5-year warranty. I have the 256 gig LCD Steam Deck model, which actually only has a PCIe Gen 3 slot, so we're not even actually fully utilizing how fast this drive can go here. But SteamOS, I've noticed post-install, is running more often, more smooth. Panels popping out, changing pages, all the animations of navigating around the OS are like nice and fluid. It's a very like refresh feeling. The biggest difference though, absolutely, is all that extra space. Crucial sent out their 2TB model. I typically play personally like lighter and smaller stuff, but I do test a lot of games for videos and I am constantly uninstalling and reinstalling stuff for that. No more. It's nice. So if you're also looking to build up that on-the-go library, make sure to check out Crucial's new P310 SSDs down in the description at the sponsored link. And a big thank you to Crucial again for sponsoring this video. Back to the games. Like I said earlier, I have played very few Valve games. TF2 was actually the only one I had played until Portal. No intro to this game necessary at all, I would say. What I liked about it, goodness, like, yeah, everything. I really love like the underlying creepiness of everything here, the sterile feeling environments, how this giant facility is just like empty outside a handful of things you run into. Then being also like a puzzle game and like you have to like kind of use your brain a little bit, whew. That felt good. Some of the standout encounters, I would definitely say, like towards the ending of level 17, that whole last segment where there's like the laser that you have to guide through, portal jumps, and then open like 4 doors. I think I took like an hour, and that was frustrating, but like also really satisfying to finally get. Then right after that, the middle of level 18, where you're in this like, I don't know, garbage disposal feeling room and kind of having to like catapult yourself around. Really cool mechanic. Any place where you had to use like a jump momentum through a portal. Really, really fun. But that area specifically, I was also stuck there for a while. Then 2 like narrative things, spoilers if you haven't played it, like the big reveal / you're gonna die. I was not expecting that at all. And then like the slow creep towards the fire, the music building, the intercom voice just casually like terminating your employment or whatever, right? Super cool, super fun. But then the other kind of narrative thing on level 17, again as well, great level, where you have to like incinerate your companion cube to proceed. Valve. What the heck? I got weirdly emotional about that. I don't know what was going on during like life at that time. I felt that. Feels kind of cool too, like finally playing Portal, a Valve great, on this Steam Deck, a great piece of Valve hardware. Hades. Oh my goodness. I am like kind of getting tired of being really late to games, finally playing them years later. It's amazing, like everyone said. And it's not like the experience is any different, but that like year 1, that first 6 months especially, where like the buzz, the hype, and like everyone's talking about it, there's something pretty cool there, and I am never around for that. But obviously people are still talking about it today. Hades. Freaking loved it. Unless I'm not remembering something, this was my first roguelike game that I've played, and I love the loop, but it's definitely jarring going back after a late run to the start and kind of like forgetting you don't have your abilities and stuff like that. Definitely took me a couple hours to click into that loop, what I should be paying attention to and stuff like that, and then actually building out a build. But once I switched to the bow, started reading more item and upgrade descriptions and making intentional choices around upgrades and stuff like that, how fast you could kind of like snowball into getting strong pretty quick if everything really lined up. Whew. That was fun. But then also like it would always be so disappointing if, you know, you die, you restart, you didn't get some of those really key upgrades and you kind of had to like just either nuke the run or do whatever, or like do an economy run and just try to get as far as you could, focusing on like gold and the purple gems, whatever those are called. But the good build and getting far into the levels, it gets chaos at some point later on. There's so many enemies between their attacks and your attacks, the screen is a mess. But then having that slow motion final hit, it's calm, you run to the door, you break the item for the next room, it goes black, and you take a breath, and then the music kicks in and it goes all back to chaos all over again. Like that was really cool. That was really good like pacing for level to level dynamics. Now, as far as bosses goes, this might be kind of a hot take. It doesn't always get me like super jazzy jazzed that a game has bosses or like a lot of bosses or whatever. I kind of liked it with Hades. The bosses were definitely a challenge, but I thought they were fair. How your build went, which, you know, changed run to run, would also change how you engaged with that boss. And I don't think you could get to the point of like cutting off Meg's intro monologue. You know, I don't think he ever got that strong. But, you know, if you timed up some of the right upgrades, like that could eventually become a pretty quick fight, which definitely felt good. Absolutely loved the art in this game, the environments, especially the characters. All the voice acting was really awesome. And the different ways where characters would interact and kind of talk about each other, like it had like a fun family banter vibe going on. I also don't know if it's like a genre or just like artistic style, but whatever it is where dialogue is voiced, but then just like a character portrait and text box pops up, I really like that style. I haven't played too many games that do it like that, but It was cool. I think, what is it called? There's a really reading heavy game that everybody likes. And it's not Risk of Rain, Path of Exile. It's like a detective one. Shoot, what is it called? Disco Elysium. That game, that part of like Hades makes me want to play this. Oh, I almost forgot to include this. Cerberus. What a good boy. I made sure to pet and talk to him every possible chance I could. The animation when you do pet him is so heartwarming. And also, I would not have completed the game if you had to fight him in that last level. I'm very glad that it did not go down like that. Last thing for Hades, I've only completed one run, but not being able to like stay top world and talk to Persephone for longer. That's sad, man. All right, now before the last game, a couple honorable mentions that kind of just didn't have a whole ton of thoughts about. Car X Drift Racing Online, cool game, ran pretty well on the Steam Deck. Random difficulty spike on like the 4th map. Hotline Miami, I'm completely trash at the game. Sniper Elite 3, kind of a seeing how older AAA stuff works. Had fun, ran well. Civilization 5, kind of testing out like trackpads. This game played great on Steam Deck. Bismarck Diplomacy Victory. Shadow of Mordor, another like older AAA game, kind of testing and seeing how it ran. Friggin' great combat, those finishers are awesome. But now, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite Steam Deck experience that I played this last year. I feel like Hollow Knight made me a happy gamer again, and I am not just saying that lightly. Like, this game hit on every aspect for me so hard. The art, the music, the combat, the level and boss design, it's mysterious, it's like a fallen city kind of thing. And I know it's like almost 10 years old at this point and the industry is very different, but just playing something like seemingly kind of pure in delivery and intention, gosh, that was good. It was also my first Metroidvania, which is another genre that I was thinking about when I picked up the Steam Deck. Don't ask me why I haven't sat down at my computer and played Metroidvanias before. There's not an answer, or at least a good one. But I really like Metroidvanias now, and I've heard this is like one of the better ones, so we'll see how it goes checking out others, but started off on a good note for sure. But what to say about Hollow Knight? I think the sound design was probably a very big element in my enjoyment of it. How well and in-world everything sounds and went together, from stuff like, you know, the footsteps to the like save sound notification. The little scribble on the map when like the map gets updated. What? So good. The power health recovery thing, both the sound and the like little subtle punch-in animation as you're like charging and getting your health back. One of the other things too that I liked that was very satisfying was the like very slow creep of what kind of mechanics are at your disposal. You get like 3 weapon upgrades and 4 to 5 abilities and perks over the, for me, it was like 30 hours to air quotes beat it at 70%. It just makes for like when you would get something, it just felt so much more impactful. And then especially the traversal stuff was like, oh, sick. I can jump in poison now. And then it's like, oh, how many dead ends have I forgotten about because I ran into it and it was poison and I didn't think I could go any further. But then you do actually go find your way back and you hop in the poison, you go to the next area and it's the Queen's Gardens and you're like, ooh, this is kind of cool. For environments though, City of Tears. By far my favorite location. I think when I hit the area for the first time and you know you're going through it and you get to the end of one of the platforms and you're standing there in the giant window and the music is playing and it's raining outside. I mean, that genuinely made me like, just stop and just kind of take it in for like 10 or 20 seconds. I don't even know how long it was. Such awesome, tranquil ambiance. Incredible. Funny enough too, I also found another video of someone talking about that was their place where they fell in love with Hollow Knight. So now a few standout moments, if you'll indulge me, if I could share. One, getting the key to the Dirtmouth cave. It's like such a basic game design mechanic, a key. But you know, you're checking out the area for the first time early on, it's locked and you're like, oh, I'll be back, okay. And then like 3, 4, 6 hours, whatever later, you get your first key and you're like, oh, what's the, oh, and it's just, it's one of those things, you know? It's like, it's such a basic, like you got your key and now you can unlock the thing. I don't know. Everything hit like double in Hollow Knight for me. So something like that was like, it's just a memory. Second thing, after you get the Monarch wings and stuff, and I'm sure we all like went to check out the different areas, I went back up like the side of the map where you get back up to the top of King's Pass, and I was about to jump down, but then I thought, I was like, hold up, is there something on the other side of this? Just emptiness? Kind of feels like there might be. I was like, all right, I gotta check it out. So I charged up my like Dragon Ball Z thing, shot off, flying through the air, that like windy, just thunk. And then you hit the wall on the other side and it's the top of what's it called? Crystal Peaks or whatever. Oh, that felt so good. Because I am not usually one to like think well and like figure that kind of stuff out. Usually like guides have to tell me, right? But in that moment, I was smart enough. I was rewarded. That felt so cool. That's like a core gaming memory now, I feel like. There's probably like a million other things like that. It feels like this game is just full of it. The teacher's archives, when you're fighting the boss in there and the homie from the like outside that you ran into comes in and helps you, and you have an ally in it. That was sick. I was like, hey, what's up? That's cool. At the bottom of the City of Tears, there's the Hollow Knight Monument, which 1, roll credits, 2, you get the cutscene, which there are not that many in the game, so that was cool. Then also Hornet comes out and she's like, stay away, this is bad. And you're like, wait, what? And then you read the monument and it's like, there's something about a sacrifice. And then you're like, hold up, this is like a dark mystery kind of game. Oh yeah. And it's just like a lot of that, right? A lot of happy thoughts about Hollow Knight and an extreme inarticulation to put that into words. But hot dang, loved it. And funny enough, as much as that was kind of like a cluster heck wrapping up Hollow Knight, that wraps up my favorite stuff from my year 1 with the Steam Deck. I can't imagine that there was a new game on this list that you weren't familiar with. If there was, sick. But I would also love any recommendations you got. Hit me with Metroidvanias, roguelikes, any other stuff that's great on deck. My wish list is massive, but it's ready to go more, and I'm ready to have, where is it? Trying to have a really dope year 2 with this thing. Freaking love it. Thanks again to Crucial for sponsoring this video. Thank you for watching. If you're still here, drop a controller emoji in the comments. So, peace out, y'all. See you in the next one.